Hello everyone, welcome to Crafting and Cruising on this Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We did. We were busy. When you come on, say hi. Rodney is on comments. I'm going to swipe my comments to the right so that I can see what I'm doing. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb again. Oh well. So, today I'm going to do a paint pour. It's been a long time. Well, I actually did one last week, but before then it had been a long time since I had done a paint pour. Hey Susan, Rodney and I fiddled around with paint pours a lot, with a lot of different recipes. And Rodney, can you reach one down there on the floor? Is that butterfly looking one down there? Hey Christina. We did paint pours a lot, and yes, and we got lots of different materials that different people suggested, and seemed like we never did come up with the perfect recipe, but today I'm trying something even different, so it may be a fail, I don't know, but if it's a fail, then y'all can watch me fail, because nobody's perfect, right? So this is one that we had done, that I did before paint pour. Some people like a lot of cells, like me. Some people don't. Some people like the lacing. Some people don't. When I looked at this, I'm trying to see which way I kind of thought it looked like, which way did I have it? Kind of like a butterfly wing. So anyway, thank you, Susan. So what I'm going to do is tell you first of all the supplies that I'm using today, if it works. Starting out with gloves, because it is a mess. I'm going to be using a canvas. This is a 16 by 20 extra deep canvas from Cheap Joe's. If you all don't know about Cheap Joe's, you need to go on cheapjoes.com. He's in North Carolina, and has really good products. So this was a 16, I know it's backwards, by 20 deep canvas. I'm going to be using lots of different paints, which we'll talk about in a minute. I'm going to make my base paint is going to be black, which I've already mixed up with a product called Floetrol. Okay. This comes from Home Depot. You can also, I think, get it on Amazon. It's like a paint conditioner. So it helps your paint stay wet a little longer. It helps it move a little bit better on the canvas. So I'm mixing, for my paints, to mix with my paints, I used 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part Liquitex pouring medium. There's lots of different pouring mediums. The girl that I was watching earlier used Deco Art pouring medium, but I had Liquitex on hand, so Liquitex pouring medium will also help you achieve cells. There are some people that use Elmer's glue in addition to that. So the mixture that I'm using today, that I've already mixed up in my cup, and this mixture will go with each paint color, is 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part pouring medium, and then a 1/2 part water. So I went on and mixed some water in here, but I also had to add some to my paints. So this is like the mixture that I mixed up to go with my paints that I'm going to pour on my canvas and hopefully get some cells. Also, in some of my paints, I put a little bit of Spot On treadmill belt lubricant that's 100% silicone. The silicone helps you achieve cells. However, if you put too much, it doesn't work, and you don't have to put it in each one of your paints that you're going to use. I'm going to mix up a paint right now in just a minute and show you the consistency you want, and like in every other paint color I'm using, I use just, it says 1 drop. It's impossible to get just 1 drop. So this, with the mixture, the paint, and a little bit of water, is what we'll use for our paint pour after I put a base down of the black paint. You can use also white paint that's been mixed with Floetrol.
Debbie Prater is watching and says she loves to do pour paints.
Hey, Debbie Prater.
And sometimes your screen is freezing.
Oh, sorry. If it's freezing, sometimes you may need to go out and come back in, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you my colors in a minute, but this is the last one I'm going to mix. And y'all, I don't necessarily use the best paints. I've got a ton of paints here that I'm trying to use up. So normally I don't use Craft Smart from Walmart because I don't like really this paint, but I had it on hand and I needed a yellow. So you can see in this little plastic cup how much of the regular paint that I have in here, okay? Now I'm going to take my mixture that I showed you a while ago, and I'm going to do about 2 parts, or 3 parts rather, to the 1 part paint. Okay? Then I'm going to take a, I have another one out here. What do I do with all of them?
Stirring sticks.
Yeah, stirring stick. Here's one. I'm just going to use this big one. And I'm going to mix it. You want to mix it very, very well. It does not change the color of the paint. You would think that it might because it has a white milky consistency, but it does not change the color of the paint. You just need to make sure that you mix it very, very well. Now, I haven't added water in here except the water to what I mixed with this. That's got a big glob on it. I need to get rid of here. Where's the trash bag? Well, this gets very messy to y'all. So, when you hold up your paint stick, the mixture should flow off without being clumpy. You don't want it thick. You don't want to have to shake it to come off. So I'm not going to add any water to this because this is a good consistency. There's another clump.
A lot of people say the consistency of honey.
Yes. Wipe that off for me. This paint had a lot of yuckies in it. So what I am going to do now is add 1 drop. Watch. You can't just get 1 drop. Okay. Maybe 2 drops of the silicone treadmill silicone and mix it up. You won't be able to tell any difference by looking at it, but it should help form cells. Okay. So the colors I'm using, this is Folk Art Look at Me Blue. And these I've already mixed with the mixture that I told you about, Floetrol, pouring medium, and water. This is Aqua by Craft Smart again. A lot of Craft Smart paints. I should be getting rid of most of them now. This is Deco Art Dazzling Metallic Acrylic Paint in Ice Blue. Some people say that metallics don't do well in pours. I'm not sure you can easily achieve cells with metallics, but I still think it's a pretty color. This is just white.
Jennifer Cook just tuned in and wants to know what you're making.
Hey Jennifer, I'm doing a paint pour that eventually I hope to use as the background to what will be my Christmas card. Every year I do a painting and then my husband takes a picture of it and shrinks it down and we print it and I do the inside script and then I send it out as my Christmas card. This is a combination color of Folk Art Crushed Coral, which is a great color to use for pink. And I put in a little bit of Craft Smart Coral Reef just because I wanted it a little bit more coral color.
Did you tell folks whether or not you're cruising today?
I'm cruising in my studio. This is an Anita's pour acrylic paint in permanent, no, I'm sorry, royal blue. Can't see with my finger there, can you? And I told you about the yellow. And then the last one, I love this color. This is Deco Art Americana Tropical Blue. So, those are the color. Oh my gosh, I just spilled my yellow. Hold, please. see if you can scoop that up for me, Rodney. Here, maybe with this. You scoop it back. Okay, I'm going to let Rodney come around here and clean up my mess while I get my gloves on. And the first thing I'm going to do is to show you a different technique than what I'm going to be doing on the big pour. There's lots of different ways to do pours. The density of the paint has a lot to do with whether or not you're able to get cells. And to be honest with you, I don't know about densities of paint and don't care. So I just sort of wing it. But one of the things that you can do, and I'm going to do it on this little canvas that you can see I've already poured. I'm going to pour over it with this black that's mixed with the Flood Floetrol. And I hope y'all can y'all see this? Yeah, okay. I'm going to pour it on here. And I'm going to tilt it a little bit. You notice I have a grate right here, an old oven grate, and below it a deep pie or deep, whatever this is, like a roasting pan from Dollar Tree. Because whatever spills off in here, if you let it dry, then you can peel it up and use it as a skin, an acrylic skin on top of any other painting. Sorry, Rodney's phone's going off. And you'll just see that I'm tilting it so that I can get it all the way on the edges. I like the edges to be finished, okay? So, I'm letting this is pretty thick, so I'm letting this run off of here. Taking my fingers and helping it a little bit to try to speed it up. Let me tilt it this way. And you do a lot of tilting when you pour paints. That helps to spread out the cells. You also use a, not a heat gun, I forget what this is called, a torch, to help pop bubbles and to help bring the cells to the surface. One thing you need to know about pouring paint: if you're not patient, don't do it. You have to let it sit a while. When you first pour it, not a while, but you have to let it sit a little bit to let all of the paints do what they're supposed to do. You pop bubbles in the beginning that have come up from just pouring your paints, because you get paints in your bubbles in your paint, and then you start slowly tilting back and forth, back and forth. This is so tiny, it's hard to even hold on to. So you have to be patient with the process. So now I've got all of my sides covered and my top covered. Can y'all see that? Okay. Let me get a paper towel and try not to knock over any more paints. All right. So here's what I'm going to do for this one. This is called a swipe. So I've got a little piece of board here, cardboard, that's the same size as my canvas as far as width, okay? Now I'm going to pour just a little more of this black paint right across the top to give it the rest of the paint something to move in, okay? Now, I'm not going to use all the colors, but I'm going to take a little bit of the paints, and in this one I'm just going to go back and forth right there. A little bit of that. Maybe a little bit of this blue right here. I may just use my stirring utensil. I'll take a little bit of white. I'm gonna put a little bit of metallic blue in here. I should have been stirring these again. I mixed these up before I came on, and I should have stirred each one again before I did this. And then put a little bit of yellow. You can come over here, Ronnie, and finish trying to get the yellow up for me. Okay. So now I have all the colors that I want to use right now. I'll tell you what, let me get this towel right here. I can wipe my hands off of it. And I'm letting them sit there for a minute, and then I'm going to take my torch. You can move the bottles out of the way because I've already showed them the colors. I'm going to turn my torch on. This is like a torch you use when you're having creme brulee or whatever. And I'm just going all the way, not too close, keeping it moving because you don't want it to light to be flammable. Just popping bubbles in here. Okay. Now I'm going to take this card that I showed you, and I'm going to very gently lay it on this paint that I put on top and pull straight down. Actually kind of waving it back and forth.
Swiping.
Now, can you see, let me tilt it a little bit, the cells. I'm going to go back and torch. I'm getting some lacing that I love. That's enough torching. Okay, so this is lacing. These are cells. And this is where you need to be really, really patient with the process, because as this sits here, some of the paint on the top is going to sink down to the bottom. Sit down so you can see me. And then what's on the bottom, some of it will rise to the top. So this is where being patient comes in. It's not always easy to do, especially when you start seeing what you want to see and you think, oh, I'm getting it. But you'll get so much more. And remember, as this dries, it changes.
Sometimes for the worse.
Yeah. Sometimes Rodney and I've had a lot, sometimes for the worse. Now, at this point, if I had enough paint on here, and I can see a little, can you see it moving?
Yeah, it's moving.
It's moving a little bit. So you can tilt it and try to stretch cells. Most of my cells have gone away, and I'm left with lacing. Now the next technique we do is not going to be this technique, but I wanted you to see that there's so much you can do with paint pours, and it's fascinating to watch it continue to change as it dries.
And if you like pretty pictures, you can take pictures of it at different stages, because in 5 minutes it won't look the same as it did before.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so I'll torch it one more time, make sure all the bubbles are out. And that's that. Alright, so I'm going to move this one. Can you pick up the Floetrol and stuff for me and move this piece of paper back? That's what I was going to put that one on. Then we're going to get to the big one and hope that we get something similar to what I'm hoping I'm going to get. The good thing about this is if it doesn't work, you can just paint over it. Just like I did on that little one that I showed you. I just painted right over one I already had. And look, you can even see on the swipe card, cells. Isn't that cool? And then, like I said, what dries in the what falls in the bottom from both of these pours, I'm going to let dry. It'll take a good 24 hours, if not more, depending on how thick your paint is, for it to really dry. So you don't want to mess with it. You want to just let it sit once you get it done.
And usually sit level.
Right. It's good to check and see if your paints are level. All right. Now we're going to go to the big one. Can you move that back some so they can get this thing back a little bit? So it'll show you more. There you go. That's good. Okay. Just don't let it fall. Okay. So again, I'm going to put black on here. And I've got to spread it, so it's going to take a little bit to get my base down here.
I think that's enough.
And I'm going to try to keep the paint falling in this container instead of all over the floor. Although, if you could see the floors in my studio, you would know that there's a lot of paint on them, which it's an art studio, so isn't that okay? I think so. Oh well, you know. Okay, right now I'm just tilting. I also have a paint cake decorator. Not a paint, but a cake decorator. So I'm going to try to smooth some of this out to make it a little bit faster. I may not have quite enough paint to be able to get it on the sides too. I like for the sides to be done completely in the base color before I start pouring paint, because sometimes what runs off is so pretty on the sides. And artists know that really all sides need to be complete to look good. You want a person to come in and see your art, and as to the degree you can, have it look good from all angles. So I'm scraping some of this over to the side so I get this deep canvas. I don't usually work on deep canvases, but I love them. When they turn out pretty, I love them. I'm just going to paint all over the floor below me, by the way. It's okay as long as I don't take it into the house. Okay, almost all the sides covered. Set that back down and I'm going to have a little more paint because it's getting a little too thin. Don't want it thin. I want it too thick, but I don't want it thin. Okay.
Let me do this.
Again, I know I'm out of camera, but let me come over here and do this side right here so I can get all of it covered good. So hopefully this technique I'm going to try will work. I'll get it. Okay, let me even it out a little bit on top and tilt it some. Okay, I'll hand this to Rodney to clean off.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's tilt it, and then we will start pouring. Does anybody have any questions so far? Ronnie's been trying to help me too, so he hadn't seen all the comments.
Man,
I will go back and read all the comments.
I haven't seen any new comments in a few minutes.
Well, tell me if you've ever tried a paint pour before, and if so, what your favorite method is to make your pours.
What are some examples?
Well, I did the swipe. There's also, you can take a straw, once you get your paints all laid down there, and you can blow through the straw one end, tilt it toward the paint you're trying to blow, and let it spread out that way. That does help create lacing. Sometimes it helps create cells, but it definitely helps create lacing. And the swipe, and Rodney's made all kinds of cool little gadgets that we've used. You know what, I'm going to change my gloves over the years to pour paint into, just to give it a little try to see what happens. Let me wipe this off my wrist and put on some more gloves. I may even put on some I've already used. I'm kind of thrifty when it comes to this stuff, y'all. I will I'll save all gloves that I've used. Wear them 2 or 3 times. Okay. So I'm going to use my bigger torch to get these air bubbles out.
Susan says she hasn't, but have wanted to for a long time.
Well, Susan, now's your chance, sister. There's lots of bubbles you can't see, but when I stand back in the light, I can see them popping. Keep it moving so you won't burn anything. Okie dokie. So, here's what we're going to do. We hope it's going to work. I've got a little can here that the bottom's out of. Okay? I'm going to put it right there toward the right edge, to you, left edge. And I'm going to start pouring paint. Before I pour, I'm going to stir just a little bit. Remember, we want the consistency of like warm honey, okay? And I'm going to fill this, start adding some of these in here. And I'm going to try to keep them in the same order each time. Forgot to stir it. Let's see.
How many have silicone in them?
About half of them. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or 9 have silicone. Also, let me tell you that if you hold your cup that you're pouring from up higher above what you're pouring into, it will help the paint sink to the bottom. And you can also sometimes get in there and see some beautiful cells, like I can, already forming in here. All right.
You want me to tip it in there?
Let me get them all in here first, and then you can tilt it. Okay. And the good thing about using cups like this is you can just throw your cups away. I reuse my popsicle sticks just because I'm cheap. All right, so that's the first cup, okay? Okay, you can show them in there. I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. Y'all see? All right, here we go. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm barely gonna lift. No, come this way a little bit. Tilt it a little bit more. There you go. I'm barely gonna pick this up, and as I do, I'm gonna swirl it. Can you see the cells? Tilt it again, Ronnie. Can you see the cells? Cells within cells, which is what you want. Okay, now I'm going to start again. I may have made too much paint, but I've got some little containers I can put them in with lids so that I don't have to throw them away, and I can do some more pours. This is already going off one edge, which is why you want paint along the edge so it'll help it flow. I think I used this one before I used yellow, maybe not.
In some cases, you may want to pour the paint very slowly from down close and not let it go through the other paint.
Right. Getting some pretty cells forming. Okay, here we go. Barely lift.
Susan says, ooh, very cool.
Thank you, Susan. It's fun. Especially when it works. It's not so fun when it doesn't. Ronnie, why don't you tilt it a little bit so that they can see how things are changing as I go.
It's got a pretty good view.
Does it have a good view? Can you see the cells?
It's just a matter of whether or not it's zoomed in, and that's the can they zoom their own in?
I don't think so. I don't know that this metallic. Well, yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's even showing up, but I see it
Got
right
some
there.
hearts.
Good. Thank you for the hearts. I love that.
I don't know what the view's like because I haven't caught up with it on mine yet.
You're good.
There it goes.
You may not have to do too much tilting on this one either.
Be bad to drop a camera in that mess.
Yes, it would. So it's done. Okay. All right. You don't necessarily have to do this part. I'm just trying to see if there's any cells come up. Okay, here we go. Last one.
Does it look
Now,
like are we centered?
the waiting. No, come this way just a little bit. There you go. Now the waiting begins. So I'm going to try to pop any bubbles. And when you do that, some of the paint will come up. You can see the white rising as I pop bubbles. And you just kind of want to let it sit for a minute to recenter. Start pouring. And then when you pour, you want to pour very slowly and gently.
I mean tilting.
Tilting, I'm sorry. All right.
Glance at your camera, make sure you're.
Comment. Tell them just hold on. Now I'm back. Sorry guys. Hope you're still with me. Now you can see I'm just going from side to side, and you can see how the cells are stretching. And then when you come back the other way, they'll stretch bigger the other way. Get it off that corner and we'll come back. I know, my mouth is moving, I know. Okay. Woo! We got some big old cells. It's all over the floor, too. Remember I told you it was messy. Okay. Now let's get it back kind of centered. Y'all see it? See my commenting?
Not lately.
All right, let me set this down.
The picture is repeating. Your voice is real time. I'm going to jump out and back in.
Yes, that's a good idea. When stuff like that happens, just jump out and jump right back in. Let me see if I can find a small area to show y'all what it does when you use a straw. I'll put this down here since I'm stepping all over it. Let me see. Let me find a straw. Used to keep
Yeah, there's a blue one back there. Is that a blue one or a pen?
Where?
Under the rulers.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's a pen. Look down there in the little paint container down there. Oh, I wish I could see the sides. Looks so pretty. Let me torch it a little bit. some bubbles. I think I've got some over here. I just haven't found them yet. You can also take one of your mixing sticks and swipe through it. There's an area like right here. I don't love this. I would like for some of the underneath. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get down close and point it the direction I want it to go. And you see how that kind of spread out, and now color from under it is coming up. Bringing some more of that yellow up. And then it will close back in and fill back in. I kind of like it because it looks almost like water, which is what I want. And I love when you get color within color.
Walk around here and look at this.
I know, that's how it is on this side too.
Leopard spots.
Look over here. I wish I could see the sides. Wish I could pick it up.
Can they not?
Well, they can see. Actually, they can't see any side. Now they can see that side. Y'all, I'm by no means an expert at this. You can tell. I don't like that black that just came in there. But I love doing it. Let me see. I think I may. Let's try something. Turn it that way a little bit. Okay. I'm going to try drizzling some of this in there and then blowing it. Yeah, that gave that corner a little color. Also can take like a pointed stick.
Get it.
Oh, that one's on.
Here you go.
Yes.
Skewer.
Like a skewer. Make some little curly cues so that pink is not so in your face. It's a lot of white over here. So let's kind of guide. Did y'all see what I just did?
Mine's stuck.
You may have to go out and come back in too. My studio is outside of my house, and so sometimes the reception is not great. I'm gonna have to get a booster, I think. This is a little much over here. Once it's sat for a while, it's not going to move much. So any movement you're going to get, you need to get pretty quickly. Yeah, that's better. I keep forgetting this part myself, but always kind of tilt back towards center. If you go off one side, then tilt back towards center before the other side. I'd like some of that black to go off there.
You're really moving now. Losing you.
Back to center. There, I'm back. Sorry, guys. Let's see if I can. Some of my cells went bye-bye. And that's the thing with pouring. It's like, what's his name? Forrest Gump.
You never know what you
Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And that's true on pour painting.
It would be almost impossible to do one and try to duplicate it.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you could do that.
So every painting's a one of a kind.
That's right. That's what makes it unique and fun. Nobody would have another one like yours.
And even if you didn't like it at this point, you could set your cut back on there and pour right on top.
That's
Keep
right.
going.
Should I? Should I try it?
Oh, do you like it?
I wouldn't mind having some more cells.
You got lots of...
What do y'all think? Where'd my cup go?
What kind
I
of
just
cut?
laid that right in my paint. Oh, here it is. I'm kind of not loving this white. Let's do some more.
Use some bright colors.
I hope I don't mess it up, but if I do, I'll just redo it.
You don't have any white?
I do have white, but I've got a lot of white I'm trying to cover up. And I didn't put any black paint below it. All right, here we go.
There's plenty.
Here's some pretty cells if they would only stay.
Try to swipe it.
I don't want to swipe because I don't want to get what's underneath messed up. Look at this. Can y'all see that peach colored one that's got blue coming up in it? There's white with some light blue coming up. Kind of got a lot right there. Here comes some more. I'm going to give it a minute to settle and rest before I tilt. That's the hardest part for a lot of people, myself included. Excuse me while I clean up my paint on the floor so I don't crack at my house. I'm going to throw that in the trash for me. Yeah, I kind of dropped my towel in that little paint pour I had done at the beginning. Ooh, y'all, these are pretty. Kind of makes me want to go over all of it. Just use all my paint and take it a week to dry.
Just from my observation, swiping gets you the biggest, best cells the easiest way.
All right, let's see what happens. There's some pretty orange ones in there. Oh, look at this one. It has orange. Can you hold it up right? Orange around the edge, metallic blue in the center, and then yellow. Right there. Woo! So pretty. I love that. I don't love this down here, so maybe I'll just do some more. Man, I'm loving those orange and white ones. I mean orange and yellow and blue. So pretty. Well, if nothing else, y'all will learn what not to do. It's going to take this puppy a long time to dry, y'all, but that's okay. It'll just stay right out here and take its time. All right. Ready? I love how it keeps changing. Because some of the colors on the bottom rise to the top. And then the heavier ones sink to the bottom. To allow them, look at all those little ones that are coming up right there. Can y'all see that? I don't think I can see that. There's a bunch of teeny tiny ones right there. Ron, you should be taking some pictures for me so we can see how it changes. Before I tilt it.
A glare issue there.
Yeah. Thank y'all for sticking with me. I think I'm almost through. I just want to, maybe, I don't like this part right here. Let me go around to this side so I can blow some yellow back in there. So you can just kind of tell it where you want it to go. All right, let's tilt just a little bit. I don't want to mess up all these pretties. Ooh, look at the yellow coming up right there from the orange. Isn't that pretty?
Mm-hmm.
I think I like some of that blue off of there. Yeah. It's kind of addicting, y'all. You can just play with it. I like these colors right here. Let's see, where is my torch? Is anybody else on, or has anybody else said anything? Ask questions, make comments.
Not in a while.
Appreciate y'all being patient. If you come on and watch the replay, please let me know you watched the replay so I can know you were here. And I would appreciate if you hit the follow button at the top and then share with your friends. Okay, it's time to do one more right here. Then we're going to be done. think I mixed up enough paint. What do you think?
Just about right.
I think I got too much. Got some purple in there. Can you tell who's on?
Yep.
Who? Tell me, Drew. Now, got that big quad of yellow. Good. Who else?
I think Susan may still be on.
Susan.
Matthias.
My sister Susan. All right, y'all. I think I'm done. You know, crafters say that and they're never done. I'm not crazy with that purple. Okay.
Try to center it over your pan
Center it on my pan.
so it doesn't drip on your table.
Yeah, true. I don't want to wipe all the edges off either. I've been doing a lot of that. This right here bothers me. I don't know if I could still do anything with this.
Well, I don't know.
Oops. Didn't want to do that. Now I got some cells coming up here, and that's good. Four people on. Who else is jumping on to say hello? Can you tell, Ronnie? I need a little. Oops.
Michelle Gilmore Hendricks was on.
Micheline. Oh, I brought that. Brought my little angel. Hey, Micheline, I hope your hand's doing better, sister. It kind of looked painful. But I know you're doing good because you said so. And you still said, hello, my lovelies, this morning. So I know you're doing good. It's hard to get Micheline down, that's for sure. Always has a positive attitude. And I love it. Okay. Better. Now we got yellow going through it. Oh, look at that one. That one's awesome. Do I need anything down here? You think?
There's something there. If you swipe it, it'll come out. Just start. Just one straight swipe. Keep going. There you go. See what happens.
Kind of dark though. Kind of cool. You like it?
Yep.
Still moving, you guys. But I don't think I want to move it much. Anybody have any suggestions? You want to see me do something different?
Everybody's gone.
Below it. Nope, there's somebody back here.
Me.
Nope. It's you and somebody else. This girl I used to do art with, bless her heart, she's in heaven now. But she used to say, don't over booger it. I think that's what I'm doing. I don't like that black spot right there. Push it off. Now. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop. One more quick with this, and then I'm going to leave it alone. Take a few pictures, and then in a day or so, when it's dry, I'll take some more pictures and let you see what it was like then. So, thank you for coming on and watching. Thank you for following. If you haven't, please do so. And please share the love with others and invite them to Crafting and Cruising. We would love to have them over here. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.